At each of the stages that we see in the product life cycle, data is being collected to actually help inform decisioning. It is being done in an iterative manner. And a classic example, I'll go back to one of the traditional industries like automotive. And I'll take a quick example. This I was hearing from a dear friend of mine who works in automotive. Uh, Tata uh, has been in the automobile industry for a number of years, specifically in passenger cars now for almost 30 years now, maybe 94, 95 is when the Indica came out and the passenger car segment they entered. Uh, Over the last about 3 years, a crucial change that they've done in their whole process of product development is two, maybe three things I would say. One is infusing data at each stage of the product journey. How do I understand upfront from the customers or consumers who are going to be my buyers, what are they looking for in the features of the car? What is it that they are willing to pay for? What are the features that they hold dear to their heart and are minimum that they need within a car, something that they failed with potentially when they had launched the Nano a few years ago. And through that whole process of driving data at each stage in the development came the situation today where over the last about 4 to 5 years, they've launched a number of brands, and each of those brands have actually gone through iterative changes. And a classic example of that is the electronic vehicle category, where they initially came out with vehicles that were giving a range of about 300 odd kilometers, which was on par with what most international brands are doing. So that came out as a bare minimum that they wanted to go to market with. But then they have listened quickly to consumers and realized a crucial part that is actually hindering the adoption of electric vehicles in the country today, in India, for example. And that is the availability of charging points. People who are working, who are the ones who are actually able to afford electric vehicles today, typically end up staying a little further away from their hometowns. That distance to travel and the time that it takes is typically in the range of about 350 to 400 kilometers. So your standard out of the box electric vehicle does not fit that range. And therefore, even though you might have a very good product on hand, it is on par with what is internationally available today, is not going to fly off the shelf. And therefore, they have iterated and they're at a stage today where they're going to soon start launching electric vehicles with bigger battery packs, which can actually go about 400, 420, 430 kilometers on one charge, and remove that friction in that customer journey to be able to do that. That's one classic way in which this is done. The other way, which again traditional industries like automotive have been doing this a lot, has been the whole customer buying journey online. And this has got accelerated in the last couple of years, of course, where earlier, if you think about it, it was the luxury segment typically where you could do a lot of customization in the vehicle that you're buying. Now that customization in vehicle buying process itself has been transposed to other segments within that portfolio as well, where almost every big manufacturer today is actually offering online customization of the car buying itself. What color? Excuse me. What color can you do you want on your car? What is the exact feature set? Of course, with some constraints that have been laid out. What is it that you can customize and actually involve the customer in the whole buying journey process itself, where they don't need to physically go in. The only touch point probably is the car testing itself, where people want to test drive the car to see how it is kind of interacting before they start doing any of that buying itself, right? So that's a few examples of what and how things have changed around us, and actually data and AI are playing a crucial part in the whole product life cycle, the iterative development of the product itself, the introduction to the market where continuous feedback from the customers plays a huge part, the growth, and we saw some examples that I spoke about, traditional industries like the razor market or the digital ones, where data and AI actually play a huge part in enabling growth for those organizations, and then eventually getting to a stage where the product is maturing. You need to understand how and where you need to iterate or pivot that product itself, or maybe it's good to potentially kill off a product and look at something new before that whole stage of decline starts kicking in its full force.